Okay, so we've got question 8 here, and let's look at what it's asking us. AB is the diameter of a circle. A is 1, 3, B is 7 minus 1. Find the coordinates of the center. Any suggestions? Say that again. The midpoint of AB. How many people agree? Okay. Anybody disagree? Good. Midpoint. How do you work out the midpoint? Is it the difference divided by 2? Okay, good. Okay, so the midpoint of AB, would simply be, I've drawn a straight line there, will simply be, therefore, 1 plus 7 over 2 and minus 1 plus 3 over 2, and that gives us 4, 1. Okay. Part 2, find the radius of the circle. So if we know the radius, if we know the midpoint, we know the diameter, how would you work out the radius? The length of the midpoint? Yeah, so we would want to work out, so C to A, so we know this point, this is the point C, it's the center. So C to A would be our Pythagoras again, y squared plus difference of x squared square root. And so we've got 4 take away 1 squared plus our x, which is 1 take away our 3 squared square root, and this gives us the square root of 13. Capiche? Is that okay? So 4, 1, that's 3 squared, 9, and then 2 squared, 4, 9, 4, 13. Alright, so that part's done. Let's take that off, Part 3, find the equation of the circle. Any suggestions about how we can do that? Exactly. Okay, let's go down. So, we know the radius. Let's just write that out explicitly. The radius equals 13, and the center is 4, 1. Therefore, the circle, the equation of the circle is going to be x take away 4 squared plus y take away 1 squared equals the square root of 13 all squared. Now, this is again a place where sometimes it's easy to make a mistake, because what we need is r squared, okay, and r is the square root of 13, so therefore when you square it you should end up with 13. Capiche? Okay. Part 4. Find the line y plus 5x equals 8 cuts the circle at A, and again at a second point D, calculate the coordinates at D. Okay. Any suggestions about what we can do? Yes. Okay, why is that going to work? Yeah, good. So if we've got y equals 8 take away 5x, so if I just rearrange this equation here, and we were to substitute that into this equation, so you've got x minus 4 squared plus y, which is 8 take away 5x, take away 1, all squared, and this gives us 13. If we were to tidy this up, okay, and expand this out, we should end up with x squared take away 3x plus 2 equals 0. You got x minus 1, and then x take away 2, and that gives you x equals 1, x equals 2. Now, out of these 2 points, point A is the one where x equals 1. Correct? So my other point is where x equals 2. How do I work out the y coordinate of this value? Alright, which equation? Do we put it into the circle equation or the straight line equation? If we put it into the circle, we still get the same answer? It's a lot longer. So it's a lot more straightforward to use this straight line. And if we were to substitute that into using y equals 8 take away 5x, so that's y take away 10, y therefore equals minus 2. And again, it's always good to write your coordinates, your final answer, as a coordinate. So you've got x equals 2, y equals minus 2. It's always good to put that in. Yes? X, which one? This part here? Alright, so what we've done is taken y equals 8 minus 5x and substituted it. Instead of writing y, I've just written 8 minus 5x. So in the equation of the circle, we've just substituted that in. The 8 minus 5x comes from the equation they've given us, the actual straight line. Okay? And again, once you've got this, if you want to check, I would highly recommend using something like GeoGebra. Just get familiar with it. Put the equation of the circle in. Put a straight line, get a feel of what's going on, what does it look like, especially if you get stuck on a problem, you're not sure what's going on. Put the points in GeoGebra, okay, and you could go through it and get a visual understanding of what's going on. Is that okay? Alright, part 5 is prove that line AB is perpendicular to C. Right? How do you show that a line is perpendicular? Sorry? Exactly. So I'll just write down, tell the examiner lines are perpendicular, or two lines are perpendicular if you multiply the gradients together, m2 times m1 equals minus 1. Okay, so the gradient of AB, so they've given us, let's have a look, AB and CD, and they've given us AB. We've worked out the point C, and we've also worked out the point D, 2 minus 2. So we can work out the gradients. The gradient of AB would be 3 minus 1 over 1 take away 7. And that will give us minus 2 over 3. The gradient of CD equals 1 minus 2 divided by 4 take away 2. And this gives us 3 over 2. So if you multiply the gradients together, gradient of AB times the gradient of CD, show your full working out, and that gives us minus 1. Therefore, because it said proves, let's finish it off with a sentence. Therefore, AB is perpendicular to CD. Is that okay? Great.